Hello, what is up ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Mario here, and I am from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Woohoo! Excuse me, I got something on my throat there, I do apologize for that. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of WarioWare Inc. Minigame Mania, or in America it calls it WarioWare Inc. Mega Microgames, and in Japan made in Wario for the Game Boy Advance. So, last time we show off some of these bonus games that specifically it's more like an endurance test. So basically that we actually did show off some of these endurance games, as you can see there. Even though, mind you, the best result is definitely Jump Forever, mainly because I'm usually good with that stuff. Although compared to Paper Plane though, I'm not exactly a huge expert at it though, I must be honest. Although maybe because I blame on the emulator controls and all that stuff. So well, so today for this video is the fact that we'll show off some classic games, starting with... Actually, no matter what, let's go from bottom this time around to the top. So I think we're probably able to spice things up a bit. So yeah, let's begin with the familiar game, Dr. Wario. Wario has swapped dudes with Dr. Mario. Oh gee. Destroy germs by lining up 4 of the same color. So yeah, if you ever played Dr. Mario before, from the likes of the NES or Game Boy or other versions out there, including the forms of, well, let's just say, I think there was one on the Super Nintendo version, I'm presuming, and also Dr. Mario 64, you know exactly how this plays out. So basically, it's like a puzzle game of any sort, but the only differences between this and the likes of Dr. Mario is the actual palette swap. Like, as you notice, that Dr. Wario is now in charge of this particular game, as you can see there. And also, some of these germs, design is actually a lot different this time around. So I'm guessing it's more accurately, it's like a, well, just the actual cosmetic skin, I suppose, but it might be hard to explain because I know I haven't touched upon the forms of classic games as much either, mainly because I'm more into the forms of completion for microgames and stuff like that. So yeah, the ultimate goal for Dr. Wario is basically pretty much exactly like the forms of regular Dr. Mario game, except the fact that, well, relatively speaking, it's just, you know, you take control of Dr. Wario, so you're now able to get rid of all the germs, and then you move on to the next stage. So, that's basically how this plays out. So, if you ever played Dr. Mario before, although, for those of you following from our Let's Play of, NES Remix 2, back in the forms of 2018 all the way up to 2019, you do realize about the fact that if you're following from our Let's Play of that particular game, you know exactly how the fact that, I'm gonna say this right about now, I'm not exactly a huge expert when it comes to Dr. Mario in general either. Mainly because I have managed able to try out the hardest difficulty setting, but most of the time, well, specifically the old school ones, that I'm not exactly a pure master at it. So as a result though, that's the reason why I was going to say this right about now. Although, potentially speaking, that's also another reason why I just managed able to give up playing Dr. Mario World, because obviously that particular game is now, well, usually it's still listed on the actual App Store, but ultimately speaking that you can no longer play the game anymore because of how the fact that I can see that that particular game got very unpopular when it comes to the forms of the view downloads specific stuff, unlike the forms of Mario Kart Tour a bit, and also from the likes of Fire Emblem Heroes, and especially noticeable with Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. So yeah, I can usually classify for how the fact that, well, I can see why most people give up on playing Dr. Mario World every now and then. Although, I haven't touched upon it that much though, unlike the rest of any other people out there, so I might be biased when it comes to that, so yeah, today's day is of course the 8th of December today, in this case in 2021 today, and it looks like that tomorrow, that's, well, specifically in America, as well as the forms of, maybe thinking Japan or something like that, Although, in the UK version, we was able to discuss on that, and during that specific time, until the 10th of December, that the Game Awards is going to be hosting until specifically tomorrow, if possible. Well, at least depends, really, just because of the fact that usually, depending on what specific regions you lived in, then obviously the time zone is completely different, which is probably true for that circumstances anyway, so yeah, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day. What's your predictions of the Game Awards is going to be hosting, and during the forms of which specific games they'll show, especially noticeable that, unlike any forms have been last year was actually alright. Like, the only highlight of the forms of the Game Awards from last year is obviously Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII has managed to able to make it to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, so that way Cloud and Sephiroth can now battle each other together on the forms of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, alongside with the forms of, you know, in the forms of this year in particular, that we've now actually got Sora. So, yeah, which is awesome. Oh, speaking of that though, is the fact that we actually heard from the likes of the forms of the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate update data mine. I'm presuming that we're able to actually get ourselves the final, you know, character adjustment balance update for the sake of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and that is the fact that they're able to actually fix some fighters balance tweaks or something like that, even though it has been quite a while since I actually did manage to play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, although we will still try to able to consider doing a Let's Play of the game at some point in the future, but let me know in the comments, because either way though, that we're still in the early process of the forms of how the fact that for our predictions for our Let's Plays of 2022, aside from, you know, redoing Let's Plays of, well, obviously Mario Party 7, and of course Mario Party 8, and eventually Mario Party Superstars if we catch up to the actual, the rest of the series, of course, so. But you know, you get the idea of how the specific discussions worth noting about, especially noticeable about the fact that, well, usually relatively speaking, I think we've naturally only got about, I don't know how many days left, specifically for the likes of, oh yeah, we've naturally only got about 17 days to go until Christmas is approaching, and as well as from that, that's, well, potentially speaking, when it comes to anything else, I would like to point things out that yes, until specifically on Christmas Eve, I am once again going to be watching My Little Pony Best Gift Ever Christmas holiday special, because I just feel like just able to get some investments to join through. So because of that, seriously, every time when it gets closer to Christmas Eve or something like that, I always attempt able to actually stick that amazing Christmas special up. Well, despite those some problems, specifically with spike and rarity crush thing gets a bit tiresome, especially noticeable that, well, every now and then is the fact that I don't know if it's just me, but I'm pretty sure that it might actually just be, although it cannot be perfect though, but it's a really, really great special. Like, it is seriously one of the greatest specials I've ever seen, so. Anyway, so let's go ahead and, oh shoot, I messed this up. Again, like I said earlier, is the fact that usually most of the time whenever I play Dr. Mario, that sometimes that I wasn't exactly the pure master at the game, because, well, most of the time, it's just about the forms of trying to able to place certain tablet pills into someplace elsewhere, and it's not easy though, at first glance, so because of that, yeah, I think I messed this up completely, so, yeah, this is definitely not good, so. At least I did try though, so, actually, okay, that pretty much does it for me, huh? Oh jeez, oh goodness gracious, I have no idea what I'm doing. What am I doing? I really don't know. Oh wait, oh shoot, I, wasn't paying attention. Oh, shoot. Yeah, that's as far as I can usually think about it. You can also adjust the actual, the speed of the actual capsules to be dropped, but aside from that, That's as far as I can say about the forms of Dr. Wario. It's there, and especially noticeable because obviously that if you really want some replay value to it, then by all means you can able to enjoy it. But unfortunately though, like I said, I'm not exactly a huge expert at it, so I might be biased when it comes to certain puzzle games in general. But either way though, and it's also worth noting for that someone actually said in the comments, back in the forms of my Nintendo 64 game collection video, someone said that, can you possibly do Pokemon Puzzle League? Well, it's not gonna happen sadly. It's because, well, I have managed able to play it on my own time, and much like in any other puzzle games out there, I'm not exactly a huge master at the forms of Pokemon Puzzle League. I have tried harder difficulties, and it's really unbeatable, so I must point things out. So, anyways, let's move on to Fly Swatter next, and this is actually based off of Mario Paint. Swing yourself into Fly Swatter, the classic mini-game from, oh look at that, Mario Paint. So, move the swatter and whack the pesky flies. So, yeah, this is basically a classic Fly Swatter game for those who ever played Mario Paint before, and I think this is obviously also is based off from one of those micro games that you've actually encountered from the likes of 9V micro games. So, anyways, let's go and get started right here. So, basically, your objective is the fact that we need to get rid of these flies, and that's all you really have to do. Now, I think you actually got about 3 lives to start with. Well, technically 4, because if you don't have any glove icons with you anymore, this actually represents you got 1 chance left. So it's basically kind of like the same thing from, well, let's just say in Super Monkey Ball 2 and Super Monkey Ball Deluxe, that if you have your lives counter into 0, this means you still got 1 chance left until you're able to use the continue. So, yeah, that's basically how this goes, basically. So, no, I think the only noticeable difference between the regular Mario Paint minigame from the likes of Fly Swatter compared to this variation, as you can see, that instead of able to actually use the Mario glove in order to able to hold the Fly Swatter, instead we're going to be using the Wario's hand, because obviously this is a Wario game after all. So, yeah, I guess that makes it pretty obvious differences between, you know, the Mario version compared to the Wario version, so I'm guessing it's more accurately like a rivalry kind of stuff, I suppose. But, oh gosh, we actually stumbled across these yellow flies that every now and then it starts to get pretty tricky if you're not careful, especially noticeable about the fact that if you dare touch one of those fly projectiles, as you can see on screen, despite the fact that I just somehow managed to get hit twice by the exact same enemies like these, and basically you lose your hand lives. So yeah, that's basically how this goes. Now I believe if you do manage to get rid of every single flies throughout, then basically that you stumble across a boss fight. So, and I think that particular concept will also be reused from the likes of Super Mario Maker. Like, you have to use the stylus in order able to actually just do all that. I'm not exactly sure about Mario Maker 2 though, mainly because it has been a really long while since I actually did manage to play Mario Maker 2. Well, despite the fact that, unfortunately though, we haven't got that much updates for that particular game every once in a while since, well, in that terrible 2020 year, because of how the fact that, well, aside from the cool thing is the fact that you can able to make your own world, but that's that. So, no amiibo costumes to be brought back, sadly. So, oh well, no big deal, but at least it's something. So, and yeah, I do apologize about the fact that what I did say earlier, that sadly though, that Pokemon Puzzle League Let's Play is not gonna happen, sadly, mainly because of this frustrating difficulty, mainly on super hard mode, or if I've heard, that very hard difficulty, or super hard mode, is actually mandatory if you really want to see the true best ending experience. Like, for instance, there was actually that particular final stage in the forms of exclusively to, very hard and super hard mode that basically you fight against with Mewtwo, which is actually kind of a throwback to the forms of Pokemon the first movie, because obviously that in addition that Mewtwo actually got himself his voice, if you try to able to accept the challenge, and also that he does have himself a clone to Pikachu, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur, at least if I recall correctly. So, yeah, it's interesting, despite it's really a biggest pain in the butt to able to make it there, especially noticeable if you have to able to go for hardest difficulty settings. So, I do definitely know there's one thing I can definitely recommend for those of you guys curious to see what the actual Let's Play of Pokemon Puzzle League looks like. I highly recommend comment J64 Let's Play, specifically comment one shot video for the likes of Pokemon Puzzle League. You should definitely recommend that video because, well, he might be the only one I was interested in, especially noticeable that he managed to dominate the actual Pokemon Puzzle League game, along with, you know, the Japanese exclusive Super Nintendo game, which I don't even know about, but I've heard of it, but I've never actually played it, although there's actually no on the Switch Online membership service, so... Ah, dang it, I was expecting that particular projectile attack, but oh well, no big deal. But that's Fly Swatter right there. Nice little distraction, but hey, at least you can able to play that particular classic minigame on the go. So yeah, that's actually super dope and everything. So now let's move on to the last classic game, which appears to be Sheriff. Too much of a good thing. Never. Played this arcade masterpiece. This time, get your hands on Wario's version. So, yeah, shoot without getting shot. So, that's basically how you can do it for this game. So, yeah, I have to admit though right away, I probably, unfortunately I don't have my controller with me, but that's only because I'm using my keypad. So, yeah, things get a bit awkward with using that controller setup. So, I kind of wish I was able to bring out my DualShock 4 controller with me, but unfortunately though, I didn't got enough time to do so. So, yeah, anyway, let's just go ahead and shoot down these pesky sheriffs there. Especially noticeable that actually gives you some points if you decide to shoot them. And every once in a while, they sometimes enter the actual intersection, as you can see right there. So, yeah, and if you get one shot at it, though, you lose a life. And I think you only do this with, like, I think if you die, like, 3 times, then the game is pretty much over, so... I suppose another thing I should probably explain about this as well, unfortunately though, is the fact that Fall Guys from the likes of the Xbox consoles and Nintendo Switch versions, sadly it's been officially delayed until next year, so it's kind of a shame honestly, because I would love to be able to play that game on the go, on my Nintendo Switch anyway, so that way I can able to get my true experience with Fall Guys in general. Although I've heard about the game, it's actually pretty fun, although I tested out during the course of whenever I visit to Shadow's house and stuff like that, but usually, relatively speaking, it's just the fact that it's just such a blast to play, despite trying to survive the actual top 10 is actually really tough and difficult, but I did have a lot of fun with that. And also, another thing is kind of bothersome for most Grand Theft Auto fans out there. Unfortunately, though, the physical version of the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy remastered game on the Nintendo Switch, physical version-wise, not digitally though, because the digital version already came out. But for the physical version, sadly it's going to be delayed also from the likes of 2022. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer and a shame at the same time. So, now I suppose the final thing I should probably explain about this as well. Recently, that Shantae and the 7 Saurians managed to able to got a new update, which appears to be a spectacular superstar update, which brings us the forms of the harder difficulty setting, which is pretty cool, especially noticeable that, hopefully if you be up for the challenge, then by all means you can able to do that. So, yeah, that's that, and I think that's as far as I can describe it, so, yeah, there's not much else to say. So, I think, since that we've only got about, one more thing left, although before I do this, get this, is the fact that in order to able to get the last unlockable in the game, which as you know is on, above the forms of Pyro, and as well as underneath, Dribble's file, well, basically, in order to get the final unlockable in the game, get this, is the fact that, remember the forms of the fact that we actually got Pyro, if you try to get every micro game here? Well, in order to get the final unlockable, as you can tell, we do need to able to replay those micro games again, but we have to get a certain amount of high scores. So as a result though, I have to do this by myself, off screen. So because of that though, yeah, there's nothing right to home about. So join me next time for more Let's Play of WarioWare Inc. Minigame Mania. We'll show off the final few extras here, such as for instance Poyo 1 and all that stuff. So I'll see you guys on Friday. Later fellas.